Imagine being able to instantly, within the first seconds of meeting someone, know if they're a liar. Imagine being able to instinctively sense who is good and who is bad. Sounds like a superpower, doesn't it? Well, dear viewers, it turns out that one species on this planet actually possesses this incredible ability, and you probably have one of them in your home right now. Your dog knows who you truly are. And not only that, they can identify liars in your environment before you even notice. Today, I'll reveal shocking scientific evidence confirming that your four-legged friends have an extraordinary ability to judge the character of people around you. Their intuition surpasses even the most sophisticated lie detectors. Stay with me until the end of this video because I'll show you how dogs can be your best allies in recognizing people's true intentions. First discovery: dogs remember deceivers. Before I explain these fascinating discoveries in more detail, let me introduce you to a man whose research has changed the way we view dog psychology. Professor Akiko Tokoroka from the prestigious Kyoto University in Japan, together with his team, conducted revolutionary research published in the respected scientific Journal Animal Cognition. What Professor Tokoroka was interested in was a simple but extremely important question: will a dog trust a person who has deceived it once? In other words, can a dog understand that someone is unreliable? To investigate this, they designed a brilliantly simple experiment. In the first phase, dog owners would point to a container that held food. As expected, dogs immediately ran toward the container. This was already known from previous research: dogs understand human gestures and trust their owners. But here's where the story becomes fascinating. In the second phase of the experiment, the same person would point to a container that this time was empty. The dogs were deceived. And not only that, scientists noticed that dogs became visibly nervous and stressed when they realized that people's gestures were inconsistent with reality. And then comes the third phase that truly amazed researchers. When the same person, who had already deceived them once, pointed to a container again, the dogs simply wouldn't go there. 34 dogs participated in this experiment and all showed identical results. Not one dog wanted to trust a person who had already deceived them. This is incredible evidence that dogs not only remember who deceived them but make conscious decisions not to trust such people in the future. They use their previous experiences to assess whether someone is reliable or not. Sound familiar? Yes, that's exactly how we humans should act too. Second discovery: dogs judge based on social interactions. But the story doesn't end here. The second set of research I'll present to you is even more fascinating because it shows that dogs don't judge people solely based on direct interaction with them. They carefully observe how these people treat their owners. In this ingenious experiment, dog owners asked for help from strangers. Two groups of strangers were formed. The first group kindly helped the dog owners when they asked for assistance. The second group refused to help or behaved rudely and harshly. After this interaction, both groups of strangers tried to give the dogs treats. The results were incredible. Dogs consistently refused to take treats from people who had previously behaved badly or rudely toward their owners. On the other hand, they gladly accepted treats from people who were kind and helped their owners. Just imagine, your dog not only recognizes who was good to you but actively makes a decision not to accept a reward from someone who treated you with disrespect. This shows an extraordinary level of social intelligence and loyalty that many of us never suspected our furry friends possessed. Third discovery: dogs understand social rules. These findings were further confirmed in another significant study published in the prestigious journals Neuroscience and Biobehavioural Reviews. This study showed that dogs clearly read and understand communication between their owners and strangers. In this experiment, dog owners again asked for help from two groups of strangers. One group kindly helped the owners, while the other group refused to help or behaved rudely. What the researchers discovered was revolutionary. Dogs showed an extraordinary understanding of social rules and behavioral norms. They systematically avoided people who behaved badly toward their owners. Even when these same people hadn't done anything directly harmful to them, dogs made judgments based on how these people treated their owners. Just imagine the implications of this discovery. Your dog not only can recognize who is unreliable based on direct interaction, but can judge people's character based on how they behave toward you and others. They understand the concept of politeness, respect, and kindness, and make judgments based on these values. This means that when your dog shows distrust toward a certain person, perhaps you should pay attention. Maybe they see something you don't, or sense something you can't. Fourth discovery: how dogs assess people. But how exactly do dogs do this? Scientists believe there are several key mechanisms. First, dogs have an extraordinary ability to read body language. They can detect subtle signs of nervous behavior, aggression, or fear that people often don't notice. This allows them to sense when someone isn't honest or when someone has bad intentions. Second, dogs are extremely sensitive to changes in voice tone. They can notice the slightest changes in how people speak, allowing them to detect lies or aggressive intentions. Third, and perhaps most fascinating, dogs have an incredible ability to sense chemical changes that occur in the human body. When we're stressed, nervous, or aggressive, our bodies secrete specific hormones and chemicals that change our smell. Dogs can detect these changes and associate them with certain emotional states. This means that when your dog reacts negatively to someone you've just met, it might be wise to pay attention to that. Your dog might be sensing something you can't, something that indicates that person might not be who they present themselves to be. And ask yourself, how many times has your instinct deceived you? And how many times has your dog deceived you in judging people? I think you already know the answer. Dear viewers, as you contemplate these fascinating discoveries, I invite you to pay more attention to how your dog reacts to people around you. You might discover that your four-legged friend is much wiser than you thought. For centuries, we've considered dogs merely as pets, beings that are there for our entertainment and companionship. But science now tells us a different story. A story of extremely intelligent, socially aware beings who not only understand us better than we thought but also actively assess people around us, protecting us from those who might not have the best intentions. The next time your dog shows distrust toward someone, don't ignore it. Instead, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what does my dog see or sense that I cannot? If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, please hit the like button and share it with friends who have dogs. I also invite you to share your experiences in the comments below. Have you ever noticed your dog showing distrust toward someone who later proved to be unreliable? Does your dog have a sixth sense for people's character? Subscribe to my channel for more fascinating discoveries about our faithful four-legged friends. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.